When you hear the term adventure bike, many things come to mind. Exploration, freedom, the great outdoors, Starbucks. But what you don't want to come to mind is unreliability, or electrical problems, or gas station coffee. As someone who has spent a total of 26.5 minutes on the KTM 890 Adventure R, I can tell you right now, it is the most capable adventure bike out there. Amazing power, the best weight distribution, the best suspension, incredible brakes, comfortable, amazing tech, rip-off unlockable features. So why are all my friends getting rid of theirs? A couple years ago, I filmed a video with my friend Riley, and we explored why he sold his 2021 890 to buy a Tenere 700. So you can imagine my surprise when he went out and bought another 890 Adventure R a couple years later. And only after a few months of ownership, he is yet again considering selling that 890. So I asked him if I could come down and ride it before he sold it, so I could see for myself what all the fuss was about to make him want to buy it again in the first place. Well, Riley generously let me try out his 890 Adventure R, my first time. Let's give it a go. Sounds nice.
That thing does awesome, doesn't it?
I'm amazed at how comfortable I am already.
I know, it feels like a big dirt bike. It's pretty hard to knock the bike when really it's pretty damn awesome.
Just that, I feel like if I was on something else, I'd
on
be
my
like...
T7 it would have been, oh.
I hit the first little whoop and I was like, oh, okay, we're good.
Like I said, it's really hard to knock the bike for its few electrical flaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Has your whole opinion just changed?
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Pretty much.
I genuinely was really impressed by the 890. The bike Riley is riding is my 500 EXC, and to be honest, I wasn't sure about hopping off my lightweight bike and getting on this 450 pounder and sloshing through this deep rock trail. But it was actually more stable than my 500. Mostly I'm sure this is due to the fact it pushed through the rock where the 890 kind of floated around on top of it. But I was pleasantly surprised.
The 890 is by far the best off-road. The weight's low in the chassis. It feels like you're riding a big dirt bike. Like any other adventure bike you get on, you kind of sit in them. The 890, you sit on it like it's a dirt bike. You feel like you're on kind of what would be almost like a race chassis. Yet on the highway it's still fairly comfortable in that way and has really good wind protection too. It's better off-road than my T7. Honestly, it's a pretty darn good bike. There's just that little thing in the back of my head that makes me worry like, hey, something electrical gonna happen to where I'm stranded somewhere. I've thought about selling it many, many times due to the fact of the few little electrical gremlins it's given me that I guess really aren't the biggest of a deal until maybe one day they'll leave you stranded on the trail. My first 2021 KTM 890, the fuel line clamp was not crimped, so I was riding down the road on a plus 37 degrees Celsius day. The fuel line blew off and completely soaked my entire left leg in fuel, which resulted in a whole bunch of blisters and bubbling and fun yucky stuff. That was KTM 890 number 1. KTM 890 number 2 being a 2023 has just given me numerous kind of electrical warnings on the dash. The first one was signal lights. It popped up and said signal lights were not working, so pulled over, checked, signal lights were not working, turned the bike off, waited for 5 minutes, started it, everything was fine. The other electrical gremlin I've had is it was telling me immobilizer, meaning the key was not reading to the bike. So I was sitting there trying to get the bike to go. The bike was not seeing the key or feeling the key. Again, I took the key out, walked around, mumbled a few words, hopped back on, turned the key, luckily it started. So those are the issues I've had with KTM 890s.
If you've been around the channel for a bit, you may have also seen the video I filmed with my friend Emily. Emily is a motorcycle journalist for Motorcycle Mojo, an awesome print magazine. At the time, she had been testing out a Tenere 700 and a KTM 790. Emily ended up choosing the KTM 790 over the Tenere, and we made a video discussing how the 790 is better in pretty much every measurable form when compared to the Tenere. However, when I reached out to Emily almost 2 years later and told her I was making this video, she informed me she was considering selling the bike. When I asked her why, she wrote me out a quick quote. "Since Emily doesn't live close enough, we are going to use the powers of artificial intelligence to replicate her voice and face from old interview footage and replace it." Emily says,
Hey, my name is Emily Roberts.
In my mind, it really is the best mid-size ADV bike when looking at performance and handling, especially for a smaller rider. The issue is, it sits in my shop more than on the road. KTM's slogan is ready to race. Most race bike needs a lot of maintenance and get worked on after every race, so perhaps it's just the nature of the beast.
wow, isn't technology incredible? Emily had multiple brake rotor failures, which was a common issue with the 790. Her bike also had a clutch issue and ABS sensor issues. I've also heard of quite a few cases of the welds that hold the headlight support system on the frame snapping, requiring frame replacements from KTM. On the flip side of all this negativity, while filming the Nora 1000, one of the contestants was riding a KTM 890 Adventure R. In a sea of 450s and 500s, this behemoth stayed in the pack through the entire race with 0 issues. And in the open, dry lakebed sections, he would absolutely blast past all the other bikes. It is a weird place to see an adventure bike, but I honestly cannot think of any adventure bike I would rather do it on than an 890 Adventure. Another problem Riley was experiencing with his new 890 was odd cold start behavior.
When I first bought the bike, I thought it was just a cold start feature. You start it and it idles really low, around say 500 RPM, and then all of a sudden just growls to life and comes to about 1,000, 1,200 RPM, and that's the second cylinder igniting, which again, I really thought was just a cold start thing, and that's how it was designed, until one of the dealerships I visited asked me if mine did that. So I kind of hummed and hawed and went, wait a sec, it actually does do that. Unfortunately, when we filmed, it fired right up.
Let's see if it has a cold start on one cylinder. Temperature is low. It has not been turned on. Nope. It's on 2 cylinders.
There's all these little potential issues with the bike, but when everything is working as it should, this thing is so good to ride. The power to weight ratio is the exact same as the Honda Africa Twin 1100, but the way the 890 delivers it is so much more fun and aggressive.
There's no shortage of power.
No. Yeah, every time I kind of let in the power, I'm like, oh, don't spray Riley. That's cool. You'll never be wanting for power on the highway, and it's smooth. And if you annoyingly pay KTM to use the features already built into the bike, you'll have cruise control for long trips. And if you suddenly see something off to the side of the road, you can go explore it. This bike will give you the confidence to hop off the concrete and then go explore anywhere. The chassis feels so good. Those low slung tanks make moving the bike feel telepathic, and the suspension is some of the best out there.
Many folks compare the T7 suspension to the 890, and hands down there's no comparison. The WP suspension is buttery smooth, it's valved for the weight of the bike, it's designed to actually be used off-road, whereas the T7, it's a little soft and a little squishy, so I mean if you're trail riding, the T7's fine, but I mean if you want an adventure bike you can get a little aggressive on. I mean, I've even taken mine to the motocross track and jumped some of the jumps there, and it handled it beautifully. And if you're to do it on the T7, you bottom it out and get some really loud clunks and bang sounds. So if you want to ride an adventure bike hard, the 890 is definitely the bike for you.
Oh my god, that dead coyote reeks!
So there you have it. It's a bit of a conundrum that I think is going to come down to personality. Some people will put up with a lot to have the highest levels of performance. Others would rather scale it back and have rock solid reliability and peace of mind. Neither is right or wrong. We've all heard the saying, no risk reward. While on the flip side of that, Werner Herzog said, I prefer to be alive, so I am cautious about taking risks. It will be interesting to see as time passes if newer KTMs will have less problems or even more as they dive deeper into bed with CF Moto. Let me know what you think about all this. Is the 890 worth the potential headaches? And to go back to Riley, 2 months after we filmed this, he put the KTM up for sale. And guess what he bought to replace it? If you enjoyed the video, why not subscribe? Leave a like, drop a line. These videos take me a lot of time, so anything you can do to help the channel really encourages me. Also, Riley and I are doing a couple events this summer in southern Alberta. If you're interested, check out chaparraladv.com for more info. Love you guys lots, and until next time, thank you for watching.
I titled this one Exploring Abandoned Homesteads with Range Road Moto. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Follow us on Instagram.
Oh, for more!